It's the lunchtime roundup. I've had 4 goes at that, and that's what I ended up doing. We didn't do one yesterday, did we?
Well, we did,
but it collapsed through the cracks of the power of the internet. These things happen sometimes.
We have technological issues at times because, you know, we're a podcast, not a video, and this is a new thing, and, you know,
we're
doing what we're doing. Yeah, we're learning.
We're learning.
Look at some of the old ones where it looks like Neil's like that, peeping his head over the top. Like, what is Neil Atkinson? Framing, Kel. West Ham tomorrow, mate.
It is.
FA Cup.
I've written something for you about it.
I believe so. It's on your screen over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do that
it's
now.
It's not. You know, in the way in which I do your editing.
Is it
not really about West Ham, mate.
Is it just about some
Do you know what it's about?
existential?
No, do you know what it's about?
Go on.
It's about Leeds 2001.
Okay.
The treble season.
Yeah.
And the week we go to Leeds, the week before we beat Palace 5-0 in the League Cup.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that was the run of games. We went through to the final of the League Cup, and then we faced Leeds in the 4th round of the FA Cup. And Leeds were like a real bogey side for us, and they were horrors. They were rivals, and we had to sort them out. And whilst I go on to say, so you need to read the piece now, that West Ham obviously aren't Leeds. That West Ham obviously aren't Leeds because it's easy to forget how horrific Leeds were and how horrible it was to go there.
Leeds.
Dirty Leeds. I say that in the piece. It will be nice to stick one on West Ham this weekend.
It would be, and that was what I was going to ask you about because Rob Gutman's been on the Twitter today.
Aye.
So any madness on there, it's Rob that. But
look, the mad thing he does where he has spaces before punctuation.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And he kicks off if you point it out.
It's crazy.
Anyway, he's come up with his team
Aye.
that he wants to see. So what do you think of this?
Well, go on.
He's got Ward in goal.
No.
He's got Flanagan.
No.
Corker.
Yes.
Lovren.
No.
Smith.
No.
Lucas.
No.
Allen.
Yes.
Chan.
Yes.
Lallana.
Yes.
Ivy.
Yes.
And Benteke.
No.
Okay.
There you go.
Alright, that was, so Neil wasn't into that. And I was going to say to you, well, hang on, it's Leicester Tuesday as well,
yeah.
League leaders,
yeah.
Only lost one at home, so we'll need fresh legs, won't we?
We will, but then, as you know...
But you want to beat West Ham sometime this season?
I want to beat West Ham, but also I think that there's a point at which you've got to say, well, we can't win the league.
Yeah.
And I'm not interested in coming fourth. Having that as a goal, if that become, you know, if it's mid-April and the goal is to come fourth, then great. But at some point, you know, this is my attitude towards the cups. My attitude to the cups, because I want to win the league. My attitude towards the cups isn't because I want to come fourth in the league. My attitude towards the cups is because I just want to win the league.
Yeah.
And my position on this is, listen, if we were 2 points off Leicester, then I'd be all in favour of playing the absolute, you know, the
canteen lady,
all that sort of stuff. That's where I'd be. But I want to beat Leicester. I want to beat West Ham. I think we can go and pick a side that can get a result against Leicester anyway, off the back of that. And I'd also be playing Benteke at Leicester.
Okay.
So that's why I wouldn't start with Benteke. I'd be going 4-4-2 at Leicester, and I'd be playing Benteke. I'd just be matching them up like we did at Anfield.
So what are you doing tomorrow?
So tomorrow I'll be putting Mignolet in goal. I think he needs and deserves the momentum. I'll be playing Nathaniel Klein at right back. I would give Colker a game because if not, I don't quite see what the point is. And also Torre could do with the rest. Yeah. I'd go with Sacco because I wouldn't want to rush Lovren back. Okay. But I may well rest Sacco for the Leicester game. And then I would go with Brad Smith at left back. And then I'd play Allen, I'd play Emre Can, and I'd play Henderson if fit in midfield. And I would play Lallana and Ibe, but I'd go with Firmino up front. And I have the option of Milner and Benteke from the bench. And every chance Milner from the bench for Henderson. Alright,
so there you go. Let's move on from that then. Teixeira, all the talk is that it looks officially off. They've come out and said they want £53 million or 70 million euros. We've bid nowhere near that. And there's only a couple of days left of the window. So do you think there's anything for Jim White to get excited about? Do you think that's dead?
And there's always going to be something in that in terms of what their manager said and what the players said. I mean, but I think there's lessons in a whole bunch of different directions here because, you know, we've been told a couple of times and we've acted to the contrary once on Suarez the first time. You can't keep an unhappy player. Shakhtar can't. Yeah. We could have kept Raheem Sterling. If we'd done like 50 million, we could have kept Raheem Sterling. I still think we sold Sterling lower, 50 million.
Everton kept Stones.
I think if you look at, they're actually asking for a greater sum of money there than we sold Sterling for. They're asking 53 million. We sold Sterling for 50. You know, so you can keep an unhappy player first and foremost, but it might be that they feel as though this could be the time to cash in and we can pull something together around the 35 million mark. Maybe not. You know, it's one of them. My biggest issue isn't My only worry is that the manager or that someone at the football club's trying to save money and to spread it out to do another summer where we buy 8 lads, whereas we should just be buying 3 or 4. And my worry is that you turn into another situation where it's like, no, the manager wants a whole new team. Well, if the manager wants a whole new team, he shouldn't have become Liverpool manager. You've got to dance with the girl who's brought you, as I say on this quite a lot. And, you know, we're at that sort of point where the idea that we go into a summer, try and spend 120 million, but spread it out over 8, with the usual success and failure, where, you know, on what defines success and failure, so you spread it out
and
over
kids
8.
who are 5 million and 8 million and coming to a new country and it's a new life and blah 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 blah. And another Markovic.
Well, getting a lad, paying 12 million for a lad and him being a 12 million pound footballer, well, I mean, that's fine. Your 12 million pound footballer is a good player, but he's not a great player. You know, I'd rather almost buy 2 40 million boys, and if one of them is a success, you've got a footballer who's a 40 million pound footballer. Let's say Teixeira is able to, you know, do a very similar goals to games ratio if we spend 40 million quid on him. But so my worry is that, you know, there's already machinations, because in essence it's probably easier to sign lads at that level than it is to get you 35, 40, 45 million pound deals.
You'd think so, yeah.
So you know, there's tons of different factors in that, and it might be that the manager's thinking, yeah, I wouldn't, and he's being told, you know, we can get you 6 or 7 or 8 in the summer. Well, I'll just get 3.
Yeah.
Get 1 boss goalkeeper and 2 boss forwards. Push the lads you're currently playing up front back into midfield, like Lawana and Milner and Coutinho, get them back in midfield. And then shift a couple of midfielders on if you feel the need. You've got the Grujic boy coming in, and just go with that for a season and see where you are. And, you know, and then as I say, your risk is you get a boss goalkeeper who should be a boss goalkeeper for you for that money, 2 40 million forwards, and you're able to say, well, if one of them's a success, you've got a 40 million player. If one of them's a success as a 40 million player and the other one does better than 40 million, then great. But it might be that one fails, but it's fine because the other one succeeded. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There you go, Ian. If you're not on the aisle, listen to that.
And we can also be on the aisle, Ian, anytime you like, mate.
Ronaldinho's been on. Praising Bobby F.
Yeah.
He says he's the player that I'm sure Klopp will build his team around. Klopp's one of the best coaches in the world, and he'll know Liverpool need better players. We also know that Firmino will need better players around him to get the most out of him. I'm sure when he joined Liverpool, Klopp has promised he'd bring in his own players, and with Firmino at the centre of the team, there's no reason Liverpool can't challenge once again. He says he's one of the best at what he does in the world. He's in the same class as Ozil, Silva, Iniesta, and all the other great players who play in that role.
Well, that's really interesting, because that role, I mean, firstly, Silva's a different player to Iniesta. Iniesta's a different player to Ozil, first and foremost, in that I think Iniesta's more of a midfielder than a number 10. I'm not quite sure about Ozil and Silva, you know, where they fall. It's quite interesting how he's categorised those players together. But I don't even think Firmino's, even if you wanted to say, because I think Iniesta's more of a number 8 than a number 10.
He's talking a deeper creative player than where he's currently playing, isn't he? Basically.
But also where he's done his best business for Liverpool. And this comes back to the thing I'm saying about, you know, get pacey, go and get 2 pacey, really good attackers who you can sort of play a front 3, but it allows Firmino to play a bit deeper, creates the space for him to move into, stretches the pitch. That's what I'd like to do, is almost have 2 quite narrow sort of forwards who can go wide if you need them, but, you know, Firmino in the centre of the action, doing all the hand stuff, because I can't, it's a video. You know.
Well, they are. What about this then?
Go on.
If you want to strike a Rory Smith, our friend of the Times of the London, who's not one for the shit, basically. He doesn't make stuff up, really. He's not in for that. He says we're in for Javier Hernandez, Little Pea. Says I
hate that nickname.
I know, it's crap, innit? Little Pea. Marrow fat. Apparently they tried to see if they could get him now. That's really not happening, apparently. But they remain interested in signing him from Bayer Leverkusen in the summer. He only went last summer for 7.3 million. He's 27 now. He scored 11 goals in 15 league games in the Bundesliga, 19 and 23 in all competitions. So what do you think?
He's a goal scorer. Buzzes round. I think he's got a fair bit of pace. I remember him having good movements as well from when he was at United. I think he'd be an interesting one. It does feel a little bit like someone's, you know, feels so he can just, you know, because he's got the goal return. But I'll say what I always say, which is, it's not an exact science, so let's not pretend it's an exact science and let's just keep doing it until we get the right ones.
He could work, he might not.
Yeah, and if you get him in and then it doesn't work, you can always sell him again, because people will say, well, he scored a lot of goals in Germany. Yeah. Just keep turning them around, and finally you'll get the ones that'll work. And that to me is the beginning and the end of it, to be honest with you. And I think you can, as I say, you can obsess over the fact that it's that there's some sort of formulas and all this sort of stuff, and that some people do it better than others. There's no getting away from that. But it might also be that someone's just had a lucky 18 months. You look at Newcastle, 3 years ago everyone was praising the recruitment in the skies. Since then,
8-year contract for the scout and all that.
Yeah, and since then, you know, they've done okay, but they haven't done brilliantly. But also it's a different thing, you know, for instance, Vardy and Mahrez get 18 months, 2 years to mature at Leicester before they have the season they're having this year. Liverpool need players to, broadly speaking, hit the ground running, and only when you're boxed can you then begin to sort of be able to think like that if you're a Liverpool or a Manchester United. And as ever, I go back to Ferguson. I cited it in a piece I wrote that, you know, the summer that Ferguson buys Rooney, they also buy Smith and they buy Saha, and Alan Smith and Saha. Alan Smith never works for them. Saha does approximately all right, and Wayne Rooney scored the winner last week. It was 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And this is football, and you know, you look at United's transfer business around that period. At the same time, when they did that business, they had Nistelrooy. You just keep it going. Some of them will work, some of them won't. There's not an exact science to it, but if you can make them work, or lads, if you move position, what we did with Kaut, you know, Kaut didn't work for us up front, but we found a way to make him work at right mid, and then we had a right mid who could get you 12 goals a season, 15 goals a season, because he knew where the goal was. As I say, I just don't think it's rocket science. I don't think it ever will be.
Alright then, shows today?
Yeah, AFQ, Friday show's already done. AFQ to come, 5:30. Get your questions in, so you can get your questions in on that. And I think you should actually let me know whether or not you like my team more or Rob Gutman's team more. You can do that in the comments underneath. My team or Rob Gutman's team more. Feel free to pick me because I'm here. See you next time.